Hey everybody. A mind is like a parachute. It doesn't work if it's not open. This was a quote from Frank Zappa.
It's so hard not to laugh.
Go ahead and laugh. What's the difference? See what MTV does to you? You can't laugh. You have to sit there and take this stuff seriously. Give yourself and the audience a break. Would you?
They may call it rock and roll, but it's corporate America.
That's right. It's push the button, pull the chain, out comes the little brown choo-choo train.
A lot of people have a closed mind. When something goes against their belief system, they shut off automatically and fight it because they've been programmed to believe a certain way. And a belief system is very real. That's what a placebo effect is. Ever since you were a kid and you were put into a school system, it is a system just like the prison system. They even built schools with the same architectures of a prison. Why are schools designed like prisons? The same people who design prisons also design schools. Ever since you were a kid, and your parents' parents, they're put into this educational system that teaches them what's the truth. And if you can remember what they tell you and write it down, you'll get an A. And you go through 12 grades. And this 12 shows up a lot in our world today and in ancient past. When you were at school, you were conditioned by the alarm. This is Pavlov's dog, where they conditioned the dog to salivate with the bell. Eventually, they could ring the bell and the dog will salivate. And that's what's happening to us all when we go through this 12-year indoctrination camp called school. The bell rings, you have to be there at a certain time. The bell rings, you have to leave at a certain time. The bell rings, you're allowed to eat. The bell rings, you're allowed to play. The bell rings, you have to stop playing. You have to ask for permission to go to the bathroom. You have become a trained dog. Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. If you can't remember what the teacher told you and rewrite it down, even if the information they're giving you is false, which it takes about at least 20 years for them to update the books. If you can't memorize something and write it down, if it's the most maybe you're just not interested in the topic, maybe it's unspiritual, maybe there's no reason for your soul to gravitate towards learning what they want you to learn, you're considered a failure. And the authority figures and group think of all the kids condition you to believe you are who you are, and it's not your authentic self. It takes a very strong-willed, connected person, introspective, to come out of the indoctrination camp. Spiritual and knowing thyself. The 12 grades you go through before you graduate in the Masonic ceremony of graduation with the hats. The 12 is very ancient. There's 12 hours on the clock, and this goes back to Egypt of Horus and Set. Horus was the sun god, Horus, and if you turn the words around, it spells hours, and he fought Set, and is why we get the word sunset. And this concept of time is to control you. And Saturn is in control of time. But this is not something you're going to learn in your indoctrination camp. Einstein proved that time is an illusion and it is just relative. And Einstein, as a kid, he would have been labeled a retard. The 12 also shows up in the 12 zodiac signs, the 12 months of the year, the 12-step programs, the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 12 disciples of Jesus. I bring this up to let you know that the world that we live in and we see today, there's a lot more wonder and mystery to it than we're led to believe. Television is another form of indoctrination, and that's why it's called television programming, because it's meant to program you, just like school. There's hypnotic effects of television through the flicker rate, and the flickering images put you in a hypnotic trance. And when you're in this hypnotic trance, it's very easy for advertisers to sell you their programs, sell you their products, and keep you consuming. There was a book called The 4 Arguments of the Elimination of Television, The Effects of Watching TV, that came out in the 70s. How powerful is TV flicker rate for mind control? Our brain processes 5 different types of frequencies: alpha, beta, delta, theta, and gamma. The beta wavelength is the common conscious brain wavelength that is used during our waking hours. This would be the alertness for the conscious mind when at school, work, play, or general thinking. Beta wavelengths are generally between 12 and 30 hertz. Theta wavelengths are when we are in a deep sleep or in the realm of our subconscious mind. It is the wavelength of 4 to 7 hertz that our body heals and when we are impressionable. For decades, the CIA and other government agencies have been interested in mind control, like MK Ultra. Think of the implications if you could successfully manipulate one's thinking. From the 30s through the 50s, mind control substances were researched heavily. In a time like this that we live in today, we are all glued to the news and the television and the reports coming out. Now, there's still advertising during all these reports. The consciousness of the masses, we're all under hypnosis right now. And it's very hard to break someone's trance. Even an awoke person is also in a trance as well. Nobody is able to break through this conditioning, especially extroverts. Extroverted people, the most easiest to hypnotize. It's the introverted person who is the hardest to hypnotize. And the introverted person can go through this indoctrination camp, television programming, and come out quite fine. Not fine usually because society has damaged them so much, but there is hope and a chance that they could break free from the conditioning. An interesting concept of how the schools are late to what really happens in history. The mummies in Egypt. We're told that humans built Egypt, but we still can't figure out how they built it. We can't even recreate the pyramids today. Inside the pyramids and in the mummies, there's traces of cocaine, hashish, and nicotine, which was only found in the Americas of that time. How come they don't teach us this in school? Also, coming to America, who was first? Christopher Columbus, they taught us, but that is untrue. There have been Europeans in America before Christopher Columbus. 1491 explores the Americas before Columbus, where there were Europeans there before Columbus. Another thing they don't teach us in school is the UFO sightings that Columbus saw and his people that were on the boats with him. They saw, called the 1492 light sighting, a small wax candle that rose and lifted up, which a few seemed to be an indication of land. They saw a UFO that looked like a menorah, and the times that they were in, they couldn't come out and say there was a UFO that looked like a menorah. It didn't go politically with the agenda of the times. Project MK Ultra, CIA mind control programming that we just talked about with the televisions. This came out where they mind control people and everyone thought it was crazy. Also Operation Paperclip, where the US government brought Nazis over, top German Nazis, engineers, technicians over to come work in the United States and live in the United States safely and paid and protected, and built NASA. But we're not taught this in school, but now through the programming, they're letting us know these little secrets now, over 60 years later. So, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Please put a like and comment down below and subscribe to the newsletter. A lot of sites are getting shut down, and this is an easy way that we can stay in contact during a social media shutdown that we see happening today. Anyway, have a good day and God bless you.